Well, the #1 Georgia Bulldogs face off against the #2 Tennessee Volunteers this weekend. This is going to be an exciting matchup, guys. But before I get into it, if you haven't, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. And by doing so, it greatly helps out my channel and it helps me grow as a content creator. Wow, guys, this is going to be a huge matchup. And like I said, it's going to be the battle for the SEC East. And you got two teams, they're both currently undefeated. And both teams are playing at a high level. And this is going to be an exciting matchup, guys. And I'm going to give you some stats of the games. Of course, I'm going to start with Tennessee. Tennessee has Hendon Hooker. What can I say, in my opinion? Probably in line to be, my Heisman finalist, and probably my Heisman leader at this point. He's thrown for 2,338 yards, and he has 21 touchdowns and 1 interception. What else can I say, guys? Pretty much nothing else I can say about that. This guy has played at a very, very high level, done everything he's supposed to do. Really, really good player to stop. And on the flip side, Georgia has Stetson Bennett. This is the reigning champ, of college football. Won it all last year. He's so far thrown for 2,349 yards with 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So another guy, great player, knows how to run the offense, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this matchup. You got two great quarterbacks with great players all around them. This is must-watch TV, guys. Rushing, leading rushers. Tennessee has Jalen Wright. He has 478 yards with 5 touchdowns. Great player, And they also have another player, I think his first name is Jabari Smalls, another great player. So, Tennessee has a good running back room as well. Georgia has Dajon Edwards, and he has 440 yards with 7 touchdowns. Of course, they have Kenny McIntosh, and they got a lot of good guys. Of course, it's Georgia. They stay with the running backs. But this is going to be an interesting matchup, guys. I know I keep saying that, but this is going to be exciting to watch. Tennessee has Jalen Hyatt. What can I say? This guy has 907 yards with 14 touchdowns. This guy just came out of nowhere. Probably one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver right now in college football. Of course, Ohio State might have something to say about that, but this guy has been playing phenomenal, and he seems like he can't be stopped, So, like I said, this is going to be a fun matchup. Of course, Georgia has their guy that seems like can't be stopped, Brock Bowers, tight end. He has 547 yards for 3 touchdowns. This guy is a massive guy. He's a beast of a player. And like I said, guys, this matchup is going to be interesting. And I'm looking at the stats, Tennessee is averaging 49.4 points a game. In my opinion, the best offense in the country right now. They played several teams, and it seems like nobody is not able to stop their offense, So really, really good offense, guys. A well-oiled machine that Josh Heupel has put together. Georgia, Todd Monken, they're averaging 41.8, total points per game. So that's pretty good as well, guys. Both offenses are clicking at the right time. Points allowed per game, Tennessee is allowing 21.0 points a game. Georgia, is allowing 10.5. So Georgia has the advantage there, only allowing 10 points per game. This Georgia defense, led by Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp and Glenn Schumann, they're doing a phenomenal job on the defensive side of the ball, guys. Georgia lost so much talent last season, but Georgia continues to put up a top 5 defense, in my opinion. So this is going to be interesting. Like I said, Tennessee has the advantage on offense, but Georgia has the advantage on defense. So the classic, matchup. Tennessee is averaging 553 total yards a game. Georgia's averaging 530. So Tennessee has the advantage, but Georgia's putting up a lot of, numbers as well, yardage. So it's going to be interesting. If you were to break that down, Tennessee is averaging 353 through the air. Georgia's averaging 328 through the air. Tennessee is averaging 199 on the ground. Georgia's averaging 202 on the ground. So they're about neck and neck, guys, offensively. So huge matchup. Yards allowed, Tennessee is allowing 393.6 yards a game. Georgia's allowing 262.6. So Georgia has the advantage of, yardage, allowed to opponent per game. And if you was to break that down, Tennessee is allowing 300 through the air, and they're allowing 92 on the ground. Georgia is allowing 177 through the air and 85 on the ground. So Georgia has the advantage defensively. But looking at this Tennessee stat, guys, rush yards, Tennessee has a great defensive front, and they're holding teams to 92.9. That's very, very good. They're allowing a lot of pass yards, but, I'm going to get into that later, talk about that later. Tennessee's, last couple opponents, they beat, Florida 38-33. Tennessee was, controlling that game. They really had control the whole game, but they allowed, Florida to come back. And I think Anthony Richardson had a great, game that, he threw a lot for a lot of passing yards. I can't remember. I think he threw for over 300 passing yards that game. But Tennessee, for the most part, had that game in hand. Then Tennessee went on the road to LSU, and they beat them 40-13. They completely destroyed LSU. LSU had a couple of special teams, mistakes. You can't do that against a team in Tennessee. They're going to capitalize off your mistakes, and they're already going to put up points. But if you give them points, boy, it can get crazy. And then, of course, Tennessee beat my Alabama Crimson Tide. They beat us 52-49. A great game early on the season. That until this point now, I'm thinking this game gonna be better. But that game was back and forth, high scoring. Any team could have won that game. Alabama missed their field goal, and we could have won the game. But Tennessee still was able to put up all them points. They scored 52 on the Alabama defense that was considered, really, really good, and we just could not stop them offensively. And of course, they beat UT Martin 65-24. Then they just beat Kentucky 44-6. I thought that was going to be more of a game, guys. Kentucky is no slouch on defense. In my opinion, I think Alabama had the better defense, but I thought Kentucky would still, be able to hang in there. But Tennessee held them to 6 points, guys, and Tennessee's secondary definitely stepped up that game, and it's going to be interesting, this matchup against Georgia. I know Tennessee got some guys back in the secondary, and it definitely helped in this game against Kentucky. So, and on the flip side, Georgia, they beat Kent State 39-22, a game where Georgia was kind of sputtering on the offensive side of the ball, but they was able to get the victory there. Then, of course, they struggled again against Missouri, 26-22. They went on the road to Missouri. Like I said, the offense wasn't, clicking at that point. But then they came right back, and they hosted Auburn and beat them 42-10, completely blow it out. Not a great Auburn team, but Auburn has been playing other teams really, really well. But Georgia just showed how much better they were, and proved that they're a top team in this game, beating Auburn 42-10. Like I said, the defense has definitely stepped up and the offense clicked during that game. And of course, they beat Vanderbilt 55-0. Like I said, another game that they were supposed to win, but keep showing that you're supposed to beat teams that you're much, much better than. So then, of course, they beat Florida in the cocktail party 42-20. Florida kind of came back a little bit, but Georgia pretty much had the game in hand. Georgia, the only thing I see about Georgia, they have some type of turnovers here and there now and then, and some things they need to clean up. But Georgia is clicking at the right moment, and they're putting up a lot of points, and they're holding teams to low points. So this matchup is going to be interesting, guys. I looked at the Kentucky and Tennessee game. Yeah, Kentucky was only able, Will Levis was only able to pass for 98 yards, and he didn't even get a touchdown that game, guys. And the only touchdown came from Chris Rodriguez. He had 64 yards with one touchdown. Kentucky couldn't do anything offensively, guys. Tennessee held them to 107 total yards rushing. And we all know Kentucky has a great rushing attack. So Like I said, Tennessee has a great defensive front, guys. A lot of people not giving them credit. They definitely know how to stop the run, and that's going to be interesting in this matchup. I keep saying these things, but this is going to be an interesting matchup. Total offense, yeah, Kentucky was only able to get 205 total yards of offense, 98 passing and 107 on the ground. So Tennessee definitely showed up defensively in that game. Of course, they put up their points. Tennessee's going to score points. So Tennessee was able to get 422 total yards of offense. They got 245 passing and 177 on the ground. So Tennessee did what they were supposed to do in that game, and they shocked me by holding Kentucky to 6 points. And Georgia beat Florida 42-20. Stetson Bennett threw for 316 yards with 2 touchdowns. Had a heck of a day in that game, guys. Like I said, he had 2 interceptions. He turned the ball over twice, but he still put up a lot of passing yards. And Dejon Edwards, he had 106 yards with 2 touchdowns. Kenny McIntosh, he had 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Georgia completely, destroyed Florida. A huge win for them. Looking at team stats, yeah, Georgia held Florida to 371 total yards offense. Florida had 271 passing, and they had 100 yards rushing. So, like I said, it's a rivalry game, and of course you expect teams to play you hard, but Georgia completely dominated Florida and did what they're supposed to do. And Georgia was able to get 555 yards of total offense. They got 316 in the air and 239 on the ground. So, like I said, Georgia just completely ran through Florida. And this matchup is going to be exciting, guys. And if I had to give my prediction for the game, I've been looking at some stats, and I've been looking at both teams. It's kind of flip-flop. And what I mean by that, Georgia is normally the team that, runs the ball more, like they like to run the ball and then pass. Last couple of games, Georgia's been passing the ball, more than they've been rushing the ball. And on the flip side, you think Tennessee would be a team that passes first and then runs, second. But Tennessee, actually, their offense is predicated on the run first, and then they pass. Tennessee has a good rushing attack, guys. And if I had to give my prediction for this game, I went back and forth on this game, guys. And of course, Tennessee is going on the road, and they're playing in Athens, Georgia. And it's going to be a huge matchup. It's going to be loud, and it's going to be entertaining. And if I had to give my prediction for this game, I think Tennessee is going to pull it off, guys. And the score I wrote down is 35-31. And my reason behind it is, like I said, Tennessee, they played some good defenses, guys. Like I said, they played against LSU. LSU got a good defense. But they played against my Alabama Crystal Tide. And in my opinion, we have a better, edge rushers. And for the most part of that game, Hendon Hooker was clean in the pocket, and we couldn't get to him. We're a better pass rusher team than Georgia, but Georgia, in my opinion, has the better D linemen. I think Georgia's D linemen are better than our D linemen, but our pass rushers, like Will Anderson, is better than Georgia's edge rushers. And if Tennessee can if they can stop the run, if they can stop Georgia's run, I can see this game getting out of hand. That's going to force Georgia to pass the ball. And Stetson Bennett has shown in the past, if you put pressure on him and he gets behind in a game, it's hard for him to come back and win the game. They're going against the number 1 offense in the country, guys, in Tennessee. Tennessee, I don't see nobody stopping them. I think Georgia's going to do a better job defensively than Alabama, considering that they can get more pressure with their D linemen. But, like I said, I think Georgia's defense is going to keep them in the game. Now, a lot of people saying, well, Tennessee's, secondary is not that good. I know it's just that one game against Kentucky, but they went against Will Levis, and Will Levis is no slouch, guys, at passing the ball. Tennessee did a good job of, stopping the pass that game. And like I said, they got some guys back, and they looked it really, really good all across, guys. So, like I said, I got Tennessee win the game. Like I said, 35-31. It's going to be close, guys. Tennessee has shown that they can go on the road as well and win. I know LSU, had a couple of mistakes, but they still went in Baton Rouge and beat LSU. Tennessee has beaten Florida. They've beaten LSU. They've beaten Alabama. They've beaten Kentucky. These are good teams, and I think they're going to shock the world. I think they're going to beat Georgia. I was looking at the spread for the game, and they have Georgia currently a 8.5-point favorite. But in my opinion, like I said, I don't see anybody stopping Tennessee's offense. You got to be able to score with Tennessee. And my Alabama Crimson Tide came close to beating them. We put up 49 points, well, actually 42 offensive points. But still, that wasn't enough, to beat this team. You got to be able to score, and I don't see Georgia being able to score that much. And the reason behind that is because of Stetson Bennett. He can't turn the ball over. But even if he don't turn the ball over, he got to be able to consistently score. And in my opinion, he doesn't throw the ball enough downfield to be able to keep up with somebody like Hendon Hooker. But that's my, prediction for the game. But it could be an interesting scenario because, say, Georgia does beat Tennessee, and then Alabama plays Georgia in the SEC championship, and the winner of that game, say if Alabama wins and beats Georgia, are you going to leave out the Georgia team that's the reigning champs, only got one loss to Alabama, and then leave out a Tennessee team that's beating all these teams besides Georgia? Like, could you lead them out the game, out the playoffs? That'd be an interesting scenario. But if Tennessee wins and then they play Alabama and say Alabama beats Tennessee in the SEC championship, Tennessee gets in, and then maybe Georgia still get in there because they only have one loss to Tennessee. So we could potentially have 3 SEC teams in the playoffs. I don't know if they would do that, but you can't deny that Tennessee is playing at a high level. Georgia's playing at a high level. And if Alabama does what they're supposed to do on their end and get to the SEC championship, you got 3 SEC teams that's the best in the country. But, that was just a scenario I just threw out there. But I got Tennessee win the game 35-31. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you haven't, once again, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.